Hello, everybody. This is Paul Adams. Thank you once more for joining me today. Today is Monday, January the 20th. As usual, I have to warn you there may be some vulgarity here, some expletives, and also some painful truth and cognitive dissonance. You know how it goes. All of a sudden, you're shook up. I need to make this caveat. I used to be a Trump supporter back in 2016. I created 300 memes. You can see it at tinyurl.com/Trump City. I had the America First Radio podcast. I sent him a birthday card on his birthday, June 14th. I was very involved in trying to get him up there, and I had over 6.3 million impressions on my tweets on Twitter during the last month of the election. I'm not making this up. I thought he was going to do what he promised, and he's not. So if you think I was supercharged and intense and focused back in 2016, I'm going to up my game here and really let the world know who this guy is. Let's begin here. First of all, with Lev Parnas. The New Yorker interviewed him. Parnas was clearly proud of his work with Giuliani and seemed unfazed by his proximity to the impeachment inquiry. I am a businessman who obviously is close to the mayor, is close to the president. I love the president. I love the administration. I fully support him and honestly think that he's probably going to go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest president ever. What he's doing is outstanding. In another clip here, Parnas told me that he bumped into Trump plenty of times at events in New York over the years. They didn't get to know each other until the 2016 campaign. All right, now, Trump, as you know, has distanced himself from these people, as he did with Epstein. The federal indictment of Parnas and Fruman alleges that the two and other defendants engaged in a scheme to funnel foreign money to candidates for federal and state office so that the defendants could buy potential influence with candidates' campaigns and the candidates' governments. All of a sudden, they are nabbed. This is kind of the usual sequence of events that we have seen with Michael Cohen, with Roger Stone, General Flynn, Paul Manafort. Why is it that some of his most passionate supporters end up behind bars? Does Trump have something on them that he suddenly decides, okay, these guys need to go? Now, on Lev Parnas, Schiff says, it is the fact with many of the people surrounding the president that they end up indicted. These are the people that the president has chosen to work with. What Schiff should have been adding here is that perhaps they present to the president simply a means to an end. Once they have achieved that end, they're of no use to him anymore, and so he has to put them away. And maybe he takes some pleasure, some satisfaction out of doing that. This is the picture that it's a postcard that Trump has signed to Lev Parnas. He says, thank you for your friendship and dedication to our cause. Leaders like you in Florida are the key to fulfilling our bold agenda to make America great again. Okay, if Trump still claims that he hasn't known Parnas, I don't think so. Joseph Bodie, Lev Parnas' attorney, says, your dog don't hunt. Senator David Perdue. Lev Parnas has first-hand information about the Ukrainian quid pro quo, and the Justice Department relies on cooperating witnesses every day in securing indictments and convictions. What does the GOP fear? Call the witnesses. Okay, we have here Lev Parnas tells Maddow that President Trump was aware of and involved in an effort to try to bring at least one Biden accuser, former Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin, to the U.S. to brief Senator Graham and the Attorney General Barr. Well, this could be construed as a photo op, but certainly Ivanka knew of Lev Parnas. Don Jr. certainly knew of Lev Parnas. Here's some more of Don and Kushner, Jared Kushner with Lev Parnas. Okay, who is this unknown here with Lev Parnas? Giuliani. Okay, Giuliani certainly was very well informed of Lev Parnas, his whereabouts. And Kushner also. Kushner being at the top of the pyramid, making sure that everything was going down as planned in the Ukraine, being Trump's senior advisor. Certainly, Kushner would have told Trump about Lev Parnas. Here's Parnas giving Trump a little pat in the arm or the back, being very familiar with him. And again, this is a recurring theme. Here's Parnas' son with Parnas and Trump. So anybody who says that Lev Parnas is a complete unknown quantity to Trump, you are so totally misinformed. Okay, let's focus a little bit here on Trump's intellect. He's not the brightest bulb, okay? According to reports, he has an IQ of 73, if not lower now with age. He's simply a gangster, the gangster mentality, the thug who knows how to add 1 plus 1, who knows how to induce fear, how to leverage. Here's a meme I created, the perfect conversation. You acquit me or else. And McConnell replies, you have my word. Okay, there's many people that have gone to bat for Trump. He distances himself when things go bad. He loves to manipulate them, and then he drops them like a hot potato. I said in reply to John Cooper, Trump has no moral compass, no conscience, no concept of him doing anything wrong. He is the definition and embodiment of a sociopath who was born on third base and has known only one thing, crime. And I give a link to this little documentary that documents Trump's crime sprees, his affiliations with mobsters in Russia. It's tinyurl.com/same Don. Republican lawmakers claim they're forced to go along with Trump's ways or face retirement. Let that sink in for a minute. Guess what? The news is worse than we imagined. The IC, the NSA, and CIA branches are withholding documents from Congress because they are afraid of Donald. Seriously, America's top leaders are too terrified of Donald to follow the law. Okay, we've become a banana republic of the United States of Israel. Dershowitz, according to some, Trump, who has never paid his bills and now has to rely on people like Dershowitz because he has stiffed so many law firms. None of them are willing to represent him. When Trump is no longer in the White House, how are they going to shut his mouth about government secrets and all that goes on in the government? He will try to make himself important to every person he comes in contact with. Every Russian, Chinese agent will be knocking on his door. I can just see that. He's the type of person who will try to monetize his position, his former position, and that's why we need to be very worried. He'll commit treason over and over, and that has a very tough sentence. He won't be able to help himself. Trump, his children, and inner circle of criminals will harm the U.S. forever. They will not stop selling us out. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. Trump must be indicted and charged for any all real crimes. It's not about revenge. I agree. This has been my concern from the beginning of his presidency. Apart from the fact that he deserves not an iota of an honor bestowed upon past presidents, he's a menace to this country now and forever. He and his family need to go to jail. Now, Iran has released a video showing assassination of President Trump. This was on News Punch. However, veterans today picked up on that, and they say now this is a fake Islamic Trump assassination video that has been traced to Israel. Well, Israel could very well create a false flag, and who would know any different? Who would know any better, right? Poor Devin Nunes. He has trouble getting around because he's clearly not outstanding in his field. He tries to steer things his direction and milk his supporters for sympathy, but he really just wants to hoof it back to D.C., where he's not reminded of his mistakes. Well, you gotta love the play on words here. Someone said here, I think Pence is just as compromised as Trump in so many ways that if they walk away from Trump and Pence is caught up on this, too, it's hello, President Pelosi. Now, you know that Joe Biden is a threat to Trump when Republicans are threatening to vote for Bernie Sanders in open primaries. I'm for no particular candidate at all. I don't even watch the debates anymore. I know this whole thing is so rigged, it's not even funny. Do you believe we need to rise up now, doing everything we can today to counter Trump's actions? Yes, we need to vote and do what we can to assure a fair election. But I'm very concerned that by election time, Trump will have rigged the elections unless we act today. Comments. Okay? That's where we're at. Michael Cohen says Trump directed him to pay for poll rigging. Now, do you really think that Trump is not doing the same thing again in this election? Come on. Okay, if you haven't heard already, there has been back in 2018 a movie that was put out called The Trump Prophecy. It hinges on Mark Taylor, the former firefighter who had visions of Trump. He called them the Trump Prophecies. It was playing in the box office for maybe 2 weeks. Didn't have a great reception. But there's a lot of Christian Zionists out there who worship Trump. The Christian right, of course, adores Trump. They think he can do no wrong, that he is infallible. And Mark Taylor has been interviewed many times about his visions and his prophecies. And as we know, Trump right now is working to strengthen his following among evangelical voters after Christianity Today, a magazine founded by the late Reverend Billy Graham, published an editorial earlier this month calling for his removal in the wake of his impeachment. That would have been last month, December 2019. Trump is trying to shore up his evangelical base. It's a big deal for him. Here we have an article from July 13th, 2018. God confirms SCOTUS prophecy with 2 signs at Scalia's funeral. Yeah. These are the kind of people that are looking for signs. They're looking for all kinds of wonders. And the big picture is this, that a project called the Lincoln Project was started, which announced its creation. This would have been back in 2018. It aims to persuade enough disaffected conservatives, Republicans, and Republican-leaning independents in swing states and districts to help ensure a victory in the Electoral College and congressional majorities that don't enable or abet Mr. Trump's violation of the Constitution. The project consists of George Conway, Reed Gallon, Jennifer Horn, Mike Madrid, Steve Schmidt, Ron Stetzlow, John Weaver, and Rick Wilson. And it has come up with a movie called The Mega Church. It's the first digital video from the Lincoln Project, a group of anti-Trump Republicans that take aim at President Trump standing with evangelical voters, interspersing clips of him talking about faith with videos of him speaking crudely. Now, here's the interesting thing. Trump's firefighter prophet, this was back in August of 2019, Trump's firefighter prophet claims patriots will assassinate high-profile Democrats. That is not good.
To travel the
road that's the wrong signal to send out there.
The conviction or the acquittal
with Dershowitz, he says we are on a strong legal footing. The president has done nothing wrong, and we believe this will be borne out in the process. This is atypical of him, very atypical.
I am willing.
He says the impeachment articles are constitutionally invalid, and I'm going to let you watch a little video here of him.
Have somebody who completely corrupts the office of president and who abuses trust and who poses great danger to our liberty. You don't need a technical crime. But remember that because the executive power is vested in one person, the president, unlike the judicial power, which is vested in justices of the Supreme Court and inferior judges, or the legislative power in 100 senators and 400 and something representatives, we have one president. And to impeach a president is like a nonviolent revolution. It is the most dramatic act of undoing democracy that is possible, and that's why the framers used the term treason, bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors to suggest the English analogy to great offenses of state. We look at their acts of state. We look at how they conduct the foreign policy. We look at whether they try to subvert the Constitution the way Iran-Contra did by going behind the back of Congress.
Alan Dershowitz's argument president cannot be impeached for abusing power, a strong one. Again, I think he's playing Trump here. He is playing Trump. Trump lawyer Bondi claims whistleblower is not a real whistleblower, but an informant and a leaker. This is wordplay, and I replied here at the bottom, Bondi also equals bimbo. GOP senator on Trump soliciting foreign interference. He says those are just statements. Okay. Again, I think he's playing Trump. He's got to be playing. He's going along to play along. This is the best his defense has to offer. Trump is toast. Wait till the Honorable John Roberts hears this when he presides over the trial. Chairman Nadler calls the White House response to the impeachment summons errant nonsense. There is ample evidence, overwhelming evidence, that any jury would convict in 3 minutes flat that the president betrayed his country by breaking the law. Okay, take it to the bank. Adam Schiff claims spy agencies are withholding intelligence from Congress after succumbing to pressure from Trump. And he blasts Dershowitz for absurdist argument. How did the ill-informed man below, making a baseless argument about our Constitution and abuse of power, ever hold a tenured professorship at Harvard Law? Okay, big question. Okay, this is a meme I created here about the impeached Trump. Well, we have Dershowitz and Graham say that efforts to dismiss articles of impeachment are dead as they prepare for trial. That was Trump's wish. And I think Dershowitz and Graham are playing Trump. I think that they're going along with the flow. They're rolling with the punches. He's probably got some leverage on them. Look, Dershowitz was an Epstein sidekick. And who knows what he has on Graham. But anyway, these guys are playing with Trump. Trump knows that if he loses even a fraction of that Fox News audience, he's done for. Everything rides on keeping the Republicans in line. That's why he's put together this Fox News legal team to defend him in prime time. This stable genius doesn't know why he's being charged. He is mentally unfit to stand trial. Why are they doing this to me? This is what he keeps asking people in Mar-a-Lago. I think he's playing dumb. He fully understands why, but he's trying to play dumb here. Lindsey Graham claims unironically that Trump's biggest concern right now is with the sanctity of the office of the presidency. As you can see here, the bullshit meter is just going off scale. I replied, bullshit. Trump doesn't give a flying fuck about the sanctity of the presidency. The motherfucker only cares about covering his lard ass. We don't believe you. We know the personality of Trump, and he's not concerned with anyone else ever. Never has he put anyone's well being above his own. He's a glutton of ego. Impeachment trial security crackdown will limit Capitol Press access. In other words, no escape. Senators to be quiet, unplugged for Trump trial at pain of imprisonment. I wonder if they have restroom breaks. Atypical security restrictions placed on reporters during Trump's impeachment trial. Then we have from Veterans Today this little clip. I'll let you read it at your leisure. At the very bottom, read this. Others have said those around them, even family members, have been subject to unusual happenings, near miss auto accidents, being shoved down in supermarkets, or strange cars repeatedly driving past their homes, turning around in their driveways. It begins. Schiff says intelligence agencies withholding Ukraine documents from Congress. Well, what else is new? House Democrats may call new impeachment witnesses if Senate doesn't. That should be interesting. Maybe Parnas can show up. Yet, even if McConnell has his way and prevents new witnesses from appearing, they may find a stage in the House where a number of Democrats are already advocating for their testimony if they're silenced by the Senate. Chris Wallace grills Trader Lindsay over rigged Senate trial. This is just a rush to get this over, he tells him. Trump keeps saying, why are they doing this to me? Mar-a-Lago. Better to be unified than divided, McConnell privately tells Trump as POTUS clamors to end his trial outright, a vote that is sure to fail. Well, here we have a new brand in the making. President Trump's conduct is the framers' worst nightmare, the managers wrote in the brief. I'll let you read the rest of it here. Now, we have prima donna Pam Bondi. Can the Dems ask her about the $25,000 donation she got from Trump, which he illegally funneled from his foundation? And one of the reasons for dissolving it and requiring his kids to go to remedial financial training? Just wondering.
I am willing to travel the road wherever it leads, whether it's to the conviction or the acquittal of the president. But in order to do that, I need more evidence. I need witnesses and further evidence to guide me to the right destination, to get to the truth.
Okay, so let's dive now into some international news here. Trump, speaking of the assassination of Soleimani, says we took action last night to stop a war. He keeps saying that, but he keeps changes his tune. We did not take action to start a war. Trump did not describe an imminent threat that led to his decision to kill Soleimani, the justification used by administration officials in the aftermath of the attack. Instead, he described Soleimani as a noted terrorist who was down on our list and was supposed to be in his country before traveling to other nations in the region. Well, he was on a mission to convey a message, according to Iraqi Prime Minister. He reveals that Soleimani was on a peace mission when assassinated. He completely demolishes Trump's argument of imminent attacks. According to Abdul Mahdi, he had planned to meet Soleimani on the morning the general was killed to discuss a diplomatic rapprochement that Iraq was brokering between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Abdul Mahdi said that Trump personally thanked him for the efforts, even as he was planning to hit on Soleimani, thus creating the impression that the Iranian general was safe to travel to Baghdad. Do you understand what it implies? This could very well have been the same kind of setup that Khashoggi faced. Okay, now let's move to Israel. The Knesset speaker to convene plenum for vote on Netanyahu immunity panel. They're going to see whether or not they're going to give him immunity. Top state rabbinical body reinforces ruling that Ethiopian Jews are Jewish. That's good to know. The Israeli election for 2020 has all the candidates running in the March to election. There's about a dozen people running. In Lebanon, the country is frozen. The state is not doing a thing. They're a bunch of thieves, and if you have money in the bank, you can't even get $100 out. Syrian militants launched drone attack against Hammamin base. Woman who rejoiced at Soleimani's assassination works for Libya's Saudi-backed militia, according to this report. How many U.S. Americans believe their own bullshit? Fake Iranian video praising Soleimani assassination goes viral. It was made by a registered lobbyist. Okay, here she is. Again, this is a very well-known modus operandi. It's a playbook. They keep playing it over and over and over again, thinking the masses will buy into it. And when you look at the historical backdrop of Iran and the US, Iran hasn't conquered any nation, hasn't created any regime change, no interventionism on the part of Iran, other than the support of Hezbollah and Syrian outposts to protect Syria and Lebanon from Israel. But it has not aggressively, preemptively attacked Israel or Lebanon or Iraq. The Iraqi war was in self-defense. And then you look at what the U.S. has done since World War II. Okay? By the way, the Muslims have this eschatological playbook where they believe that a Messiah, an Almighty, is going to return. He was supposed to return by 2016, and as you can see him here, he is holding the flag and he's followed by Jesus. Okay, this is a mural in Tehran. It's part of the narrative of the eschatological end times. So again, it's not just the Christian Zionists that want to see an end time scenario played out. It goes both ways. Trump said to soon decide whether to release peace plan before Israeli election. Well, we can almost imagine what that will consist of. It will probably relegate the Palestinians to the trash bin of history, affording them safe havens in surrounding Arab countries, and giving Israel full control of all the lands from the Nile all the way to the Euphrates, the Greater Israel Project. And we hear now that the proposed U.S.-Israel Joint Defense Treaty is nothing more than a political boon to an indicted Israeli leader who is unable to garner support for his people and elected officials to remain in office as prime minister. It's also a boon for the military-industrial complex in the United States. And that concludes this day's dive into the news. Thank you for your attention. And that was our program for today. I hope you can join me tomorrow where we take another dive into the news. If you feel this program is worth your time, please consider contributing to it by clicking on the link below the video or going to this link here. Thank you very much for your time. God bless America.